you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Have you reached the point where Old Man Winter has gotten under your skin? A video shared with us through our whistleblower hotline shows two people nearly coming to blows in South Fargo over drifting snow. Valley News Team's Joshua Pagaro has advice on coping with winter.
A man is upset that a snow removal company threw some snow from his neighbor's property onto his property. You can see him circled in red. He takes a photo of the company's pickup, and things got a little tense with an employee.
Take care of it right now. And I need that picture from you. I got it. I'm doing it. Delete that picture of him. That's how you're going to get.
You can see the employee in the man's face. But it doesn't end there. The employee then stands in the man's way as he tries to snowblow his driveway, and the man points to the Ring camera, letting the employee know he's being recorded. Those who find shoveling snow fun in the wintertime are few and far between. But a few of the people that we spoke to say the way that they cope with Old Man Winter is they try to have a positive outlook.
I do debate and band, and that kind of helps decompress from the depressing winter to be motivated by something.
Listen to music and read, stuff like that.
We live in Jamestown, North Dakota, so we'll have so much snow this weekend. So pretty much we just stay inside, watch movie and stuff like that.
But they did acknowledge that winter really tests one's patience.
There's snow on the ground, it's slippery, and the road that you can't get around as good as you can, in the summertime.
In the winter, you barely have any time to do anything. The sun comes up at 8 o'clock and it's down by 5 o'clock. So you don't have, it's dark half the time you're awake.
Winter's also a good time to take up a productive hobby. In Fargo, Joshua Pagaro, Valley News Live.
A psychologist says it is good for people to stay physically and mentally engaged during the winter and not just sit at home watching Netflix. And if you need help uncovering fraud and corruption in your community, call our whistleblower hotline, 701-237-6576. Call that number and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. And always remember, no matter what the weather like is out there, it is not the messenger's fault. It is not _ the messenger's fault. Let's go to your No Wait weather planner with meteorologist Hutch Johnson.
You're just scoring the points big time tonight, aren't you, Mike Morgan? I got to tell you, the weather tonight, pretty quiet. It does look like we're going to cool down. Taking a look at the satellite and radar, all the snow from the system that dashed through the region earlier today, well down into Iowa. Temperatures are coolest off to the west where the clear skies are. We're cooling quickly there. Temperatures holding with the clouds in Lakes Country closer to 25 or 30 degrees. Slowly falling temperatures this evening, light winds, and all in all, a pretty quiet evening of weather, albeit on the cool side. We'll be in the mid-teens by bedtime tonight in Grand Forks. Now, the weekend, yes, it's here. We have been talking about warmer, enjoyable temperatures, but it comes with a big slap in the face. We're talking some winds. We're talking some mixed precipitation as well. Mike, I'll have those details as the messenger here in just a moment.
You're slapping us in the face and we're supposed to stay.
Not
okay.
me, the weather will.
All right, okay, that's right. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Two people were taken to the hospital after a cooking fire in West Fargo. The call came in just after 4 p.m. at the 200 block of 5th Street East. The fire was out by the time crews arrived. The extent of injuries unknown at this point, along with the extent of damage to the home. A Roseau County man has been formally charged in the shooting death of a Badger, Minnesota woman. 58-year-old Angela Borison has now been charged with second-degree murder with intent, second-degree murder with intent, and assault with second-degree murder, and the murder of Angela Wine. On New Year's Day, Borison told investigators that Wine came to his house and helped him get gas for his car. Borison was not ready to leave when Wine showed up. Borison then said that she was yelling at him to hurry up. He grabbed a loaded shotgun, went outside, and pointed the gun at the woman because he wanted her to leave. He admitted that he fired into the driver's side window of the car, hitting her, and walked into the house to call 911. An autopsy determined that Wine died as a result of multiple gunshot wounds. A 21-year-old man is in jail after a wild incident at a restaurant in Fargo where police say he tried to run over an officer and restaurant employee. Police were called to the Perkins in South Fargo around 3 this morning where employees said that this guy was assaulting other people at the restaurant. When police arrived, Tin Nagoon got in his car and drove at the officer and a restaurant employee. He was eventually arrested, put in jail on multiple charges, including assault and DUI. No one was seriously hurt. It's time for a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Police say this individual, 34-year-old Ryan Forney, is wanted for failure to register as a sex offender. Call your local law enforcement if you have any information on his whereabouts. A company in Grand Forks County is now being cited by the federal government after an employee died in a grain bin. It happened last year on July 3rd in Arvilla when 58-year-old Kevin John Anderson became buried under approximately 15 feet of corn while cleaning a grain bin. Officials say that the U.S. Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration is holding Columbia Grain International LLC responsible for the death. The company also faces up to $190,000 in proposed penalties. Rescue crews spent approximately 2 hours trying to find him. Some Jamestown businesses have a lot of cleaning up to do after a roof collapsed Thursday night. The roof of the building at 210 Business Loop W fell in after heavy snowfall causes stress that proved to be too much for the structure. Everything inside the part of the building that collapsed is considered to be a total loss. The building also includes the Jamestown Salvation Army thrift store, which appeared unaffected by the collapse. The roof cave-in comes nearly a year after the canopy of the building was brought down due to heavy snow and wind. No injuries were reported. DWI in Minnesota, DWIs, plural in Minnesota, are up 5%, partly due to people driving with cannabis, opioids, and meth in their system. A new report shows that nearly 28,000 of the people cited for DWI last year had too much alcohol in their systems. A growing number were also arrested for having substances other than alcohol in their systems, which contributed to the spike. Officials say it's still unclear what led to an equipment malfunction in an East Grand Forks substation just before 9 last night. Several of you captured videos like the explosion lit up the sky, but the malfunction also left hundreds of homes without power for almost 2 hours.
We were just scared. We were like, honestly, I believe in like aliens and stuff like that. So it was like, oh my gosh, we're being attacked. Like, what is going on?
EGF Water and Light says thankfully no one was hurt in the incident, adding that crews were on scene throughout the day assessing damage and costs, and hopefully will determine what caused the fiery wreck at the end of the weekend. Fargo Public Works is continuing to dig out downtown Fargo, and starting at 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, vehicles parked on downtown area streets will be impounded so crews can complete their work of removing the snow. The area includes all streets between 1st Avenue South and 6th Avenue North, from 2nd Street to University Drive. You can still park on the avenues downtown, along with the parking ramps and surface lots. You can find more information on Valley News Live's app. Just search VNL News in the App Store and download it for free. There's another phone scam in our area. Authorities this time in Polk County alerted us to a female caller who says that she's with Essentia Health in Detroit Lakes and calling from the phone number 218-314-7297. The phone was then given to a male who started asking the victim for her name, date of birth, and last 4 digits of the Social Security number. When the victim asked what they needed this information for, the caller then hung up. If you do call that number back, it's tied to a call board that does direct calls for Essentia Health and DL, but the call board does not make calls from that number. This is going to be a busy weekend for NDSU Bison fans that are heading to Texas next week. They'll be planning for the fun that has been going on in Frisco for years. We're gearing up for that fun as well. Our crews will be touching down in Texas next Wednesday with our live coverage to begin that night. It all leads up to our 90-minute pregame show that starts at 9:30 Saturday morning, January 11th. You'll hear from our experts as well as former Bison players and fans. That's 9:30 Saturday morning, January 11th on KVLY. Later on Valley News Live at 6, as flu cases started to spike in North Dakota, white health officials are saying this year's flu season is nothing to sneeze at.
Gray skies, wind, and flakes for us today, but by late in the day, we enjoyed a gorgeous setting sun. Temperatures well above average in Fargo and in Grand Forks as well. Now, we'll remain above average this weekend, but it comes with some hitches in the giddy up. I'll have those details coming up right after this.